Okay. That's what McDonald's does to you. Gives you this energy. Good afternoon. Asian Pacific Islanders, we are typically very quiet, shy people, right? So let's try to change and break that stereotype. So let's try again. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are all so happy to be here. And first of all, when people like Sandy and Cece, Regina, and of course I have to be responsive to Maylee, Tom, they said, will you come up here and drive up and speak to young students? And I think some of you I've had an opportunity to speak to already. So let me just first off say thank you to the wonderful work of all of the people that you've heard about before, because it's so important that we remember our history so that we can move forward and be able to build upon that. How many of you are here because you like politics? Raise your hand. Okay, there's something wrong with you, Sandy. And the reason why I said this is some of you have heard me say this before. When I say, for example, a profession, let's talk about Asian Pacific Islanders for a second, and we talk about areas that, what do your parents typically say, we want you to study and we want you to become this profession. What profession might it be? Doctor, engineer, lawyer, accountant, thank you. It's always support that, but anyway, you got it right. So I am not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an engineer, and I'm not an accountant. So for my parents and my grandparents, I was seen as a failure. Now how many of you say this? Your parents said, when you grow up, I want you to study so hard because I want you to be a politician. Raise your hand. Which of your parents said that to you? Not a single person out of over 150 people said that. So why is it that persons like Sandy and Maylee and Cece and Regina have asked a politician to come speak to you today, when yet culturally we're told that this is not something that you pursue? So why is that something that we do not typically pursue? Politics. Say, don't become such a politician. Or you say the word politics. What immediately comes to mind when you think about some adjectives and you hear the word politics? Power. In a positive way or a negative way? Both? Okay, fair. What else? What other adjectives come when you say the word politics? Corrupt. What else? Do you talk about politics at the dinner table? I mean, there are a few things, subjects that you don't talk about at the dinner table. One of them is politics, because people do what? They fight and argue. What about this side of the room? This is very participatory. I don't want to talk to you because you'll fall asleep right after eating some really good McDonald's. So, what about this side of the room? What words come to mind when you hear the word politics? Okay, that's a good response actually. Which is that we are apathetic. We have nothing to say. We don't know what politics is. What is politics? And when we think about the opportunities of seeing a representative, someone like Osh Kalra, who's the first Indian American to be ever elected to the City Council of the City of San Jose, the 10th largest city in the United States, and seeing what that means. What does it mean when you see someone in civic leadership? Can I then aspire to be someone like that? And when we think about it then too, how many of you have said that you want to run for office? Raise your hand. Okay, well, I have to talk to you. We have to talk to them, Sandy. CC, we'll have to talk to them. But when I say the word, when you talk about the word power and corrupt, do I look power hungry to you? Do I look corrupt to you? Well, you might not know. But I will guarantee you it is a very difficult job to be in. And when I sort of think about when I heard that there were other people visiting from China, visiting here and said these are hand-picked individuals that Sandy looked at. You know, when I go to something called the U.S. Conference, I served as mayor back in 2010 and 2013, and I went to a big conference like this called the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And at this conference, there was maybe 500 people, and what did I see when I opened up the door and I saw all of the mayors in the room? All of the mayors in the United States. What attributes did I see? What were they? White, old, male. Now, there is nothing wrong So I don't have those attributes. The system's not meant for us. In fact, when I went to go visit and did a delegation visit to China, and it was a mayor's delegation, all of the Chinese officials started laughing. And they said, who are you interviewing for? Oh, sir, you don't sit right there. Because they said, at the time when I was 26 years old, in China, you cannot be a mayor at 26 years old. Now, why is that? Why do you believe that China, the second largest GDP in the world, would have a policy like that where if you're 26 years old, you should not be serving as mayor? Because elected office and politicians, and this is for young people, what happened? What are the challenges that I faced when I ran for office? So I ran for office and I knocked on people's doors. And people said, I said, hi, I'm running for office, my name is Evan. What do you think people said? Too young. So too young. Why is it that young people should not be serving in a capacity to have an ability to help other people? Or what is it about young people that we are not capable of doing something that just because I have silver hair, suddenly I have the age to be able to do so, the wisdom, no experience, no credibility. And so, to all of you who are, I would argue, younger than myself, do all of you think that you're inexperienced and that you have no credibility and you have nothing to offer? When I come from Silicon Valley, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg is younger than 31. I'm 31. He's younger, and yet he has created a very big company. So, what kind of talent are we looking at? And what are the challenges that we face? And so, the message to all of you, I would argue, is that we have a lot of work to do. The system is not made for young people. The system is not set up for Asian Pacific Islanders. So how do we then identify what those challenges are? I already told you that the system is set up for typically old white males because you could have time and you can afford to spend money and you don't need to do these things. But let's talk about the power. When I served as mayor or council mayor, all that power. How much money do you think I made when I served as mayor for the city of Campbell, which by the way was the city in which eBay was founded, and it's in the heart of Silicon Valley as well, according to San Jose. How much do you think I made? No, not for you, CC. CC, your numbers are kind of skewed. For you, I know, your definition of a lot of money is different than mine. You be quiet, please. Students, what do you think? How much do you think a mayor of a California city in Silicon Valley makes? 50,000? 35? Okay. 100K. I wish I lived in your city because you would support $600 a month. $600 a month. CC was right. So we're doing it because of public service. And when I ran for office, I knocked on people's doors and people would ask, and I said, I'm going to ask you for your vote. They said, Evan, I have shirts and ties that are open. And I want to say, you still wear clothes that you haven't worn over 20 years old, but you just kind of smile. Okay, you want to vote, so you have to be nice. People said, we want American interests, not Chinese interests. We want businesses in English, not in Chinese. And I'm fourth generation California, speaking more Spanish than I do Chinese. The mayor of my city was second generation Italian. So I'm 2 generations more native to the community in California, in Silicon Valley, Santa Clara County, than the mayor. But we're seen as perpetual foreigners. Are you more loyal to China or the United States? Who do you root for in the Olympics? When you see the Olympics going, who do you root for? People still ask me these questions. And yes, we are in 2014 in California. And so think about the challenges. I know there are many of you that are from other parts, not only just in the state, but throughout other parts of the country and in other places too. So the challenges are real, but we must aspire to make sure that now that I have opened the doors for other people and was honored to be the youngest Asian American mayor in the country, we must continue to see now that we have opened doors for all of you. So now that the doors are open, how do we keep them open? How does Councilmember Colorado keep the doors open so that he is no longer the first? That we will continue to have more and more people, well, he will remain the first, but we will continue to have more and more Indian Americans, individuals of Indian descent, continue to see the pipeline of what it means to be in an electoral office, because we see the importance of all of that. And so that's the challenge that I think is very important for all of us here. How many of you have faced discrimination before here? Okay. And what did people say to you Whether anything. Anybody? Your English is very good. Well, I'm glad that you brought that up. When I ran for office too, people said, they said, let's talk about professional foreigner. They said, you speak English really good. And then I also said, I speak English really well. Unfortunately, California. So you speak English with anything else? So about your Asian identity. What about females? We have strong women in this room. Now let me ask you this. Do you think there are still barriers to women in positions of influence and power? So women, what are you doing about it? And what can us fellow men do to help be more enlightened, to make sure that we can break down those barriers for all of you here? What are the challenges that you think we can do? Because remember, this sort of collaborative. I don't know what to talk about. Women, what are the challenges that you still think people face? Do you think there are enough executives? This is not only for Asian designers. Do you think there are enough executives when you think about Silicon Valley? And actually, there was reports about all of the diversity, quote-unquote diversity, the ethnic background of all the people who work at these high-tech companies. How many CEOs or vice presidents, senior executive people are Asian Pacific Islander? How many are of African descent? How many are women? How many women CEOs are? And so, women, what can we do, and what are the challenges that you perhaps face? Anything? Or even what have you experienced so far? Have any of you faced challenges related to your gender? Have any of you faced challenges related to your ethnicity or background? Anybody? So we're all good then. Then we can just go home. We don't need to be here. Is that right? We don't need to be here. But the challenges are very real. And so when we talk about all of this, let me just also make one other statement, which is that when you look at the system of governance in society, and you look at our prison population, there is a big problem here in which you see an overrepresentation of African Americans and Latinos in our prisons. So what are we doing as Asian Pacific Islanders to try to remedy these issues, to try to create a society in which we have all people together and we work at it as an issue as a whole? I have a U.S. passport and a fourth generation California. It does not mean that I cannot stand up for the rights of those that are undocumented, that are fighting to make sure that they want to put food on the table and fighting to make sure that their families have better lives. I do not have a uterus. It does not mean I cannot stand up for the rights of women to choose for themselves. So just because we are who we are in terms of our identity, we must continue to see that we're all in this together. And so that when I'm hopeful that if elected in the state, I asked Haley, I will be 31 years old, and if elected in the state legislature, I'll be the youngest Asian Pacific elected in the state legislature. But actually, there are two members currently that are city members that are younger than myself. There's a 26-year-old, Sebastian Lee Thomas, and I think there's a 29-year-old Ian Collier, who is also young. But it demonstrates the importance of making sure that we have young people at the table and continue to work. So I'll leave you finally with this, which is that why are you all here? Why do all of these folks at this table right in front spending their time with all of you? It's because they get paid lots of money. It's because they want to see other people. They could just be retired and enjoy their lives. But they're here because of you, each and every one of you. And so with this opportunity, this politics might not be for you, but use these experiences to explore and challenge your assumptions. Challenge your assumptions and your beliefs. You have all come here with different beliefs, and your family have told you you should be a Republican because of these reasons. You should be a Democrat for these reasons. We like these things, but we don't like apple pie, but we like something else. But challenge your assumptions and try to seek out other people, because I know that you're spending quality time with each other. Try to find someone from a different geographical region. You may say to yourself, I may never see you again in my life. But seek out that person and say, tell me about yourself. Why are you here? Why are you interested? And what is your life experience about? So we can really try to expand on the work that all of us have. And then finally, collect business cards. Do all of you have business cards yet, or contact information? No? Okay, for those of you who have business cards, collect at least 10 business cards from as many people as possible. Not just fellow interns and students, but from other individuals as well. And follow up and send them a thank you note. It was a pleasure to meet you. Next time you're in town, I would love to get coffee with you and learn. Be very curious, learn, because you will never know how someone can be of help to you in the future. And what that can be, you never know where your life So as agents, we typically just like to stay in our own little zones. We might stay at one table, but get out of your table. You're here to learn and experience it. So get out and do that, because for me, I am very shy. I'm a shy person. And so to be in politics takes me to overcompensate for my upbringing. And so I hope that you all learn from these experiences and keep those words. So again, collect business cards, challenge your assumptions, and just have a good time. And so I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I hope that all of you after this break will come and see and thank CC and, oh, of course, one last thing. See, this is a problem with policy, we keep rambling. But one last thing is to show appreciation and difference to those who have helped support us. So please give thanks to Regina, CC, all the individuals, Sandy, and everybody, because we are all here for all of you. We want to see you become the next CEOs, the next mayors, and the next first in your own capacities. And so thank you very much for the time. And I think I will be here. I don't know what the schedule is, but I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I know that we'll continue to have.
As a startup in Silicon Valley, innovation is our DNA. It's inside our blood. What is innovation?
Very confident.
It's a way of thinking, it's a philosophy, it's a mindset. It's very closely related to leadership.
For me, it's really about finding the right fit between the product and the market.
Have a strong technology position, a strong market impact.
Innovation can be an idea, can be a product, can be a service, or can be a thinking. It can be everything, out-of-box thinking, not limited to your background, to the past. Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. I'm Diana Dane, and today we are going to talk about Cloud Festival. Today we have Carrie Davis, and she's here to share her story, which is so inspiring. What we are doing here is to summarize, bring out the point, and give a good presentation. Help people to bring out their idea to the whole world.
It's very important to be able to spot human talent and to be a good leader.
More importantly, it's how our corporate and partners perceive the value that's come out of the event.
It was all about seizing the opportunity rather than looking at the world as a set of problems.
I want to change the paradigm of angel investing being local. I want all of us to think global and to look at great opportunities in Asia or Europe, wherever it is in the world.
Come to Ding TV. Let us work together to bring out your idea to share with the whole world.